Welcome everyone to the Paladins Premier League. We're actually halfway through week number 4, and by the end of this week, we'll kind of know exactly what we should be expecting going into the next one. My name's Tigress, here with Goremizer.
I like that we're still in a spot where, like, this week we've got a lot of, like, LAN people coming from console, from the PGS. Fnatic and G2 are looking like they're pretty much at that spot where it's like, okay, you can qualify as long as you get your wins this week, but then second and third and fourth and fifth are really all just kind of up in the air. These teams have improved drastically over the last few weeks.
It's definitely a bit more clustered in the center of it all as we try and figure things out, and actually getting to see Na'Vi play today, and that'll start pushing things in that direction. But we also saw NIP yesterday, and that's kind of the two that we're talking about in this region. But remember, everything comes down to DreamHack, which is in November. HRX is teaming up with that convention. So get your tickets at highresexpo.com. Paladins World Championship, Console Wars, and our Smite content as well.
There's a lot of teams going to be there, a lot of competition. You see the LANs when they're here, but I think it's a different environment when you get to be there. You get to hear the players. Sometimes they yell. I'm looking at you, Cuss, but anybody else who might stand up. I like the energy that always comes down from the PWC.
Oh, definitely. Also, taking a look, you can see Summerland. That's what we are in the midst of right now. And then during the next month is when we'll have our LANs. Well, in the midst of the split, LAN is next month. And then soon enough, I feel like it's one of those things that time is going to fly by before we go into that DreamHack territory. As far as standings go, we were just talking a bit about it. Fnatic and G2 are one win away from securing their attendance at the next LAN, whereas you have NIP and Na'Vi, as well as Envy and Renegades, kind of battling it out right now to determine who will be that second from each region to make it through. This is Thursday, so our second day of EU for the week, and then we will have NA tomorrow as well. So some of the results, I think yesterday, pretty quick games, but we did have that Splyce victory for the first time in the organization in the PPL.
They hold off so long, and then they're like, well, okay, here's a 3-0 for you, just to kind of spice things up for you, and again, shake up a lot of what's been happening in North America, and creating a little bit of drastic nature. That's kind of akin to, like, if Virtus Pro at this point in the split was able to get a win, and they were able to just stop it as a 3-0.
It's so crazy, though, with rosters and everything that make the difference, because Virtus Pro, we talk about how they've been on the struggle bus, but then they also, during the last fall LAN, with almost a whole different roster. But the match that we have coming up first is between Fnatic and Mouse Sports. Tell me some of your thoughts on Mouse Sports, particularly Cybate.
Mouse has been a team that, for me, has been on the rise. A lot of what they've been doing is right. Picking up Cybate for this split, I think, was really big, or for this year, has been big for them. But it still feels as though it's just some small things every now and then, right? Where it's just like, you're not bad players, but for some reason it just feels like your team hasn't been able to quite accomplish the same thing that we've seen out of others. And they've been improving, but I think the problem is that even though they're improving, we're seeing the rest of Europe improve with them. So everybody is constantly taking steps forward, and they need to take a leap to be able to kind of get themselves up past the rest of the crowd.
And that's the thing. If you are constantly improving, that's great, but it doesn't change where the bar might be to really start making waves within the rest of your region. And that's kind of where they're at right now. They're above where they were previously, but still working to be at that same caliber of the teams that have been really consistent within their regular split performances.
There's a lot that they've been doing right, and again, I think picking up like people like Cybate, having that flexibility, Koa now moving away from what I feel like was only Genos to a plethora of champions, it's really changed their play style, and I think it's given them an advantage. But unfortunately, that advantage has been seen mainly against like Virtus Pro. It's kind of helped them against NIP, but as it comes down to teams like Na'Vi and Fnatic, they just haven't quite been able to bring them down.
And Fnatic has been zoned in with their eyes on the prize, and Jera has been a huge part of it. So let's go take a look at your conversation with them.
All right, well, we're here with Jera from Fnatic, and I mean, just to start things off, you guys have been on a rampage. How has this split been feeling so far?
We came back from the LAN, what was kind of disappointing for us because we only got 1 trophy and we aimed for 2. So we wanted to make sure we qualify for the summer split, and that's what we kind of did so far, but the split's not over.
So just looking ahead, I mean, the next match that we have you guys against is going to be Mouse Sports, who I want to say have been on the rise. They've been able to show dominance over Virtus Pro, but how do you feel like you and your team are going to be able to fare against them?
I mean, we just feel good against Mouse Sports. We expect to win against Mouse Sports, but we always should watch out. If Mouse Sports play the best game and we don't play our game well, then they can take a game of us off. Even the set we play super bad.
So coming into this, is there anything specifically that they've been trying that you're maybe worried about? One of the things that they've mentioned in the past is that they've been kind of looking at trying to find a meta to take you guys down specifically. Has anything that they've done really kind of struck you as something to be worried about?
At least not against us in scrims or anything, but maybe they try some other things against other teams where we don't know about, so they maybe can surprise us, but they will tell us next week. They will tell us later in the day if they will bring it out or not.
Yeah, well, it sounds pretty much like everything's going to be said. I think a lot of people are kind of expecting the outcome of this one to lean more in favor of you guys as the unstoppable force of you have been. So just looking in the future, not only for this set, but for the rest of your sets, are you guys feeling relatively confident not only for the rest of the split, but also for any of the lands that might be coming up?
I mean, there is some downtime between the split and the lens, so anything can happen in between that. Like because Furia will most likely be available for the LAN, and I think Furia can shake up the meta a lot.
Well,
so we will see what that brings.
I'm kind of excited to see it. I know actually a lot of us watched your video in order to kind of get the hands-on to figure out Furia and get a lot of healing out. So I'm kind of excited to not only see her come in, but see what you guys and a lot of the other top teams like Na'Vi can do with it. It sounds like you're pretty much set for this one, so we're going to go ahead and just throw it back to the desk and be complete.
Thanks. Later.
You threw it back to yourself.
Yeah.
What?
It's like
But you were there. Now you're here.
If you're like the Flash, right? You can throw a ball and then you can run.
Play catch with yourself.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, it is going to be super awesome when we get to see Furia in competitive play. I think a lot of people are excited to bring that to the table. But Fnatic and Mouse Sports, that's what we have up. And Jera, as confident as ever, it seems. Always eyes on the prize, always keeping focus on increasing that competitive nature. But we'll see where they're going to be for map number 1 as we get this set rolling, and it's Jaguar Falls.
And what I like so far is that the team has definitely grounded themselves. I feel like after Split 1, they were like, we're the best in the world. And that's where you see things like Vegas Masters come through, where it's like, okay, look, there's still people who can beat you. You aren't, completely untouchable. And I think that's what's given them the grind for this split, where it's just like, we're not going to win every set. We don't think we're going to win every set, but we kind of know we're going to win every set, right? It's like we know we are the good enough team, and like even today after talking to them, it's just one of those things where it's just they know that they can accomplish a lot. They just have to play their game, and that's always like the thing that's on their mind. We can't let them make us play anything different. We just have to play what we have.
And as far as playing what works for you, Buck has been something that's worked very effectively for a lot of people, including Cybate, but that actually ended up getting banned away. Cassie and Drogos early lock-in so that Doodle can have the Dro.
I really like the way that Fnatic go ahead and grab like Genos and Inara, though, because that's two, I want to say, comfort picks for Mouse when it comes down to it. Inara is something Bees loves to play, and honestly, there's no reason not to pick her in certain areas other than maybe you want to grab Terminus or Khan instead. Khan being banned, Terminus not being seen just yet. This is one of the things that Fnatic are just going to go ahead and go for, grab both of the Stigala, and that makes it a deadly map.
Oh, yes, when you have both the Inara and the Terminus that can, whether they're both just standing on the objective or rotating in, they did opt for the Genos rather than the Moldamba previously. So, and if you're going for something like the Terminus, a lot of times you see the Snake Dude, but Genos can still have that amplification onto champions like the Bomb King, who quite frankly loves Jaguar Falls.
And it's one of those things that when you have Moldamba, you get the Swift Spirits, but you can actually kind of get some of that, not necessarily the same speed boost overall, but you get the same amount of healing. You have Grover, Genos, so you're never going to feel threatened, and since it's Jaguar Falls, you're kind of closed in space with Terminus.
Well, I really like what we're seeing coming out of these teams right now, and I want to see it in action. So let's send it over to Evan and Nick in the caster booth.
Wow, what an interesting kind of lineup here from both these teams. The triple DPS in a kind of a different way with the Moldamba and the Barrack. And then, of course, the two Stigala paired with the Genos, the Bomb King, and the Grover for Fnatic. How do you feel about that?
If anything, Fnatic's draft's looking more like an NIP draft to me, and Mouse Sports draft is looking more like a Fnatic draft to me.
I mean, I think Fnatic, obviously, no, they're in the driver's seat. Mouse Sports has to prove to them to be able to get the win. And it's not really do or die for any of these teams. Fnatic still in a spot to be able to clutch first place, even if they lose in their own hands. Yeah. And then Mouse Sports really unable to compete with, NIP, you would assume, and Na'Vi, unless something dramatic happens today and they actually get a win against the top team in the league.
Seething Rage, that's fun. I like it.
He's swinging.
Bugsy coming out with the Decimation, one of the first few to do that. It looks like it's going to be that. Never mind. We've already had that conversation. It's not new anymore. But this is cool from Fnatic. Fnatic do a lot of 3 DPS, and it's because they do it damn well. But now that they're, in my mind, getting close to essentially clinch scenario. I don't know if there's any way they don't make land at this point. This is a cool comp for them to start working out, getting the Kinks Iron out before land, just so they have something else in the arsenal that they can go to, because, you know, they play a lot of 3 DPS, so obviously that is their, you know, that's their go-to. That's what they feel best on. And having some of these other wackier stuff in the arsenal would be good, I think, to throw teams like Na'Vi, who know them so well, off balance.
And I mean, talk about Mouse Sports, what just happened there. A really failed flank coming through from them, and they end up losing their entire team from it. The power of Grover early paired with the pressure, I think, of Bomb King and one of the Stigala. That moment, it was Terminus. Just so difficult for Mouse Sports backline to break in. Even with a Zen, even with a Cassie, they're going to be required, I think, to really group up a little bit more, deal with some damage here in this backline.
Treacherous Ground, man, this Zen is going to have to watch his steps so carefully. Fnatic have 2 frontliners, a luxury they don't normally always sport, and so that means Steel's going to have even more space to go around and provide that excellent peel that he's able to do on his own.
And I like that they're coming through with an idea as well. It's just not going to work out right now, as you've seen. There's been evidence, and so you got to make some adjustments if you want to change things up for Mouse Sports. But Fnatic, clear, I think, front runners to win this set. And so far, they are off to the races, absolutely, with some good damage here from long range with Jera. One axe might just take him down from this range due to the scaling. Either way, Fnatic are in the lead 1-0.
This is a composition from Fnatic that wants to 4-0 you. They want to put this away as quickly as possible, because it's all on Fisheko to do damage. There really isn't a lot of damage for this Fnatic roster. The sightlines aren't that long for Grover. Terminus is Terminus. He's going to get in his face when you can. And Inara is Inara, right? There's no punch behind all of that. Mouse Sports will absolutely win a boxing match in the hyper late game if it goes that long.
And they're really good just focus on the cripples, on the champions like Cybate playing Zen, like Andrew Doodle, on the Drogos, who have been their really 2 carries this season. And Koa looking to truly contribute on the Cassie, but it's been rather lackluster as NTP's falls down as well. Nice spike, but it's not enough. Cybate's going to go down. Double kill for Fisheko. And looking to make it a triple here if he can land just one more bomb. He's going to chase it, but Koa is probably going to make it back to safety.
And luckily, actually eats that fire spit on the chin there so it doesn't explode for 1,000 damage, and then he avoids all further rockets. Bittner, back in the Geno, something he's definitely played a decent amount of late season 1, so to speak. He sort of started to experiment with that flex roll. Fnatic gets pushed right through with a nice little poppy bomb, and the more I see that Treacherous Ground Wardersfield, the more I just love that legendary, man. That thing is colossal.
On this map, too, you just have so much, you know, use for it. Every single channel can be blocked off almost completely with the Treacherous Ground. And Fisheko, one of the things you talked about is he's got his own damage, and he's really the only real supplier of damage here. But I think part of it is he's got Luminaries, so work on that. And he's got so many people who are big factors, Nick, that they can't ignore on Mouse Sports. You can't ignore an Inara, a Terminus, a Grover. And so it is opening stuff up for this lone damage dealer to do the job.
Look at you, Gara. He's creeping up almost top damage in this game, a little less than 4,000 damage behind a Drogo. So who win or lose, right? He's 0-3. Not a great showing, but it's just, this is Drogo's map, man. He will find a way to get big damage, especially when there's so many big bodies on Fnatic to just shoot at.
And Fisheko doing a little something cheeky here.
Is this skin a tactical disadvantage?
No way. I mean,
up,
what in the world was that?
He's done that before.
Well,
I will say, I have seen him pull that off.
He didn't do it there.
No, certainly not.
That's true. It's Bittner just waiting for his team, and now they're fighting with only 4. So, I mean, what was the payoff?
What are the payoff? What are the comms in that scenario, man?
What's the dream situation? You get in the backside over on the, and you just go left. You know, I don't know, wrap around. It did not seem worthwhile, and he just might have earned himself a spot onto Esports Weekly. 8 streak here for Theo. Will it fall? He doesn't have a wall. He's getting healed up, though.
Oh, God, Inara. She's tanky, but even she will fall eventually. Gara's right there with him, doing his best to keep him alive. It's overtime. It's the comeback mechanic for Mouse Sports here, and a massive mistake made by Fisheko. It's going to be looking like a Mouse Sports payload. The Spite's going to come out on Bugsy. He's got the reanimate. You wait out the overtime timer and maybe give your team another shot.
And he's doing it. He's coming back, so they're going to have to back off a little bit. Fisheko finds an early kill. Will this be enough? Zephyr Cloud taking down Bugsy, and here's a Grumpy Bomb as well. Good Dread Serpent. He's got to keep Jera alive. He can't. And now they have to touch onto the point. Gets Fear just at the edge. And this is a very dangerous situation. Fnatic have invested resources to try to steal this back, but it's just too little, too late. And Mount Sports go ahead with the lead. Actually, tying it up, excuse me.
That's good. I mean, as long as the fact that Mouse Sports have this barometer now, right? You know, Fnatic, as great as they are, how far ahead are they? You can't give them that one.
No.
No, that would certainly be kind of a devastating loss. Mouse Sports Well, I would lose a lot of hope if I couldn't even get that payload. So they do keep themselves in the game when it's absolutely given to them, and no slip-ups there. Fnatic don't have a chance to bounce back there.
And I also think Fnatic are the type of team to just call that an L. They're not really so egotistical in their play and approach that they won't be willing to say, let's just defend here. Let's be safe. Let's take the cautious approach. It's a very European thing to do, but it's a very Fnatic thing to do because they often set the tone for what Europe is doing. And they just say, you know, let's try, but they back off quite a bit. And even though they give an effort at the end, it feels almost like a half concerned effort at the overall. And Fnatic willing to just defend here. Not much room made on this payload.
Cute Poppy Bomb there, Void Gripped up as well. Seen a couple of great Void Grip saves from Bittner so far. The Spite pulling Xin out of that, you know, when he's not CC immune, so you just yoink him right out of it with any sort of basic CC, hooks, pulls, silences, grabs, all that kind of cool stuff. We'll take him out. And Visheko's done a great job of actually playing around the Xin. Xin can be difficult on a line of sight dependent map with a line of sight dependent healer like Maldamba. It's been a bit of a struggle for old Saib.
Absolutely. Bugsy here getting the power siphon going forward and now just pushing them back. They're not on offense, but they are going increasingly towards the direction of Mousesport's base. And it just shows, you know, big mistakes like that are going to change the tide. It's not going to change the tide of this set or this game, you would assume, but at least for this round, it's going to be Fnatic waiting patiently, and Fisheko probably maybe shaking his head, maybe having a little bit of a laugh at how that didn't really turn out.
NTB, Saib, Doodle all find one. That's going to be 4 for 1 here for Mousesports. They'll get this payload kicked off to the races once more, but as the third commentator just told us, only 30 seconds on the clock to get this one home. Vision for Mousesports is not crucial at this moment, in my opinion. I mean, you know they're all coming out of spawn.
Yeah, you've got the awareness of that concept that, you know, they're going to be defending here and relatively close, but you know, we want to make sure you're not getting caught out by anything that may show up on the side. Maybe a Grumpy Bomb, maybe a Fisheko going for an interesting flank, and they just go, let's get the Spite, let's try to tie this up. In all honesty, I think this is actually working better for Fnatic if they do let it go. I don't think they're in trouble losing a fair point fight, but you never know. Now some credits.
Feels good, definitely, to get this through. Converted Gera. He's here. He's yeeting axes to his heart's content. Doodle's got such a good angle on this fight, though. 2 quick taps to Fisheko. A little help from the team makes for a double kill. And I think Fnatic here just trying to maybe force another ultimate out of Mousesports if they possibly could.
Absolutely. Double kill there. Triple kill. Doodle definitely doing the work required to help get that in for Mousesports. But where did this all come from? Just a really interesting mistake, or I'd rather not a mistake, just a choice, I think, from Fisheko to try a very dangerous route that didn't pay off. Koa showing up. Oftentimes the lackluster, I think, kind of the third tertiary damage dealer we talk about, but has a nice round there.
10 and 4 on the board. This is Drogo's map. That's why I think this last line's super impressive from Koa, because you don't consider this map any more Cassie's map than I don't think you would most others. Saib 8 has definitely had his plate full. You've got Cripple and Ara, you've got Bittner on point with the grips and stuff like that, and Bomb King just being a good matchup against Xin overall. He's definitely struggled to stay even, so Koa definitely is shouldering a lot of weight and will need to continue to do so to keep them in this game.
I mean, you know, I'm not expecting any crazy flanks here from Fisheko. I expect a little bit more of a straightforward round from him. Koa here getting so aggressive as well with Saib 8 and just trying to fight them in this corner. I think this is opening up maybe for Mousesports to maybe Dread Serpent some around, and they find his Bittner early on. So here's the opportunity, and there's the Dread Serpent, but a nice whirlwind from Jero is going to keep them healthy and make sure he stays CC immune as the King Bomb gets charged up. They're fishy! Sends him into the depths of the water. A little bit of a taste of his own medicine. He says, I've tried it. It's fine. Why don't you go for a swim now?
Oh, man, he almost picks up Saib as well. Hits the spray. Will be reunited with his healer on the gore. That's a lot of quick healing. Speed. That's what Damba's all about. Saib 8 and Koa have actually gone in and nimble this game. The zip around this map just a little bit quicker. It's going to help you walk out of those warders field. And what a great angle on Bittner. It's an easy cleanup. Has the Spite as well. It connects onto Jera, but the follow-up is here, and it's good.
And they save Jera. It's a beautiful rotation from Thiel and Bugsy just to help their healer. They know they need him in this match. And Jera finds the kill ultimately after getting out of that one. Sephi Cloud getting low. Fisheko on the follow-up here. There's a reanimate from Bugsy just to stay in the fight, stay relevant, no damage required. They get a double kill on NTB. He's looking for the triple. Beautiful heal's going to extend this fight and reset his health bar, and he may just find it here. There's 4 easy targets, and Fnatic, through the chaos, are going to just find the next objective.
Nice stuff from them. Nice recovery. Beautiful King Bomb there and a stylistic finish as well as a great whirlwind from Gary. You got to give him credit, keeping his team in the fight up until that point. He gets another one charged up to boot, beating every other healer in this game by 30K.
2 minutes and 8 seconds now for Fnatic as they look to pressure on and on. As far as this game continues to go their way, I don't see any difficulties in expecting a 6-0 for their current state in the PPL. But Mousesports, obviously, given the chance, they are the ones playing. They have full control. They can change that story right now. But not with Koa going down like that.
Looking for some good in-hands, finding good ones as well. Just a couple of squishy DPS to get through here. Fishy struggling to get this airborne target out of the sky. Theo's going to help him swat that fly. Long range autos, that's what Fishy's so good at. One more downtown. He's going to find Sepha Cloud.
Royal Subject's working so well for him there. It's just such a good catch-all if someone's near that range. The explaining of how do I hit that, how do I do it, it goes to be a lot less in-depth when you just give that extra room for error. And Fsheko barely making any errors himself. Fnatic get the first victory over Mousesports, as most expected, and they take a 1-0 lead in this set.
So far, so good from them. I like the switch up in the composition as well. Bittner brushing the dust off that Genos. That might be something they need to go to. As well as Grover is not something Fnatic has leaned very heavily on. When you look at a team like Renegades, who almost go to it every single game, make it work well. Gara's crushing the healing charts by about 30K, getting plenty of whirlwinds up. So not something they do often, but something that they appear to do well.
Yeah, well, Fnatic take game one. Let's see what the Death has to say about it as we break it down.
You did have the moments where Mousesports did manage to take back control. You had the triple kill from Drogos that led to the completed push. But then, if you're putting the Drogos versus the BK, in this case, Fsheko on the Bomb King was impactful.
Pretty much every single time I'd say he's impactful whenever he gets Bomb King. This is one of those things I was actually kind of surprised to see Mouse take any points, given that this is one of Fnatic's strongest maps, the way they've been able to play it in the past. But again, it's kind of a little bit of, I want to say, just experimentation with them. Again, you don't get to stay at the top unless you kind of throw some risks out there, try to figure things out, so it's not the same strategy over and over again. But the entire time, you had a draft that felt comfortable for you, and you made it look good.
Really solid overall, and I think the casters made a good point where we've seen Bittner on the Genos before, but bringing back this type of... Oh.
I love it, but it's still not quite what he wanted or thought of.
Oh, I just want to see a different angle here right now. That's... Oh my gosh, this slow was... Boom, baby. Boom.
A lot of what he was able to do there. Again, that was one kind of playing with some mechanics. Can I actually jump around this? Because that's something that has given some champions an advantage. You get a pretty decent position if you can get around there, especially that angle, because no one expects you to not come through the door. I admire the ability to try it, and I think if you're going to try it at any game, this is the one to try it in. But unfortunately, that one didn't work out. I love the stun as well, just being able to showcase, I think, a few things in Bomb King's kit that you can stun Drogos out of the sky, and he will just plummet.
Just becomes a rock and just falls directly to the bottom immediately after that. But that was game number one. Fnatic bringing in some stuff that we've seen them before on those, but they've been sticking a lot with what we traditionally have seen from them within recent weeks. But I think right now, taking that moment to try these other compositions, do you think they're going to go for the same as far as that, just dabbling in other approaches in game number two?
They might still dabble, but I don't think it's going to be anything like outrageous. They're not going to pick Willow. Well, you know, every time I've said that, someone's picked Willow, so I'm not going to finish the full statement. But, you know, they're not a team that I see usually picking up like Vivian, Willow, Ying, something that's completely out there. But this is one of those matchups that, especially with the way they are, and especially since they got Khan throughout all of that, they can be pretty confident in whatever they grab.
They've got a lot in their arsenal, and that's what we witnessed in game number one, where I haven't seen anything as of late that's been, oh, crazy. I don't imagine them being able to pull off, or I've never seen anything like this from them in the past, but I do like seeing just the differences in their approach. And right now, Khan, Genos, and Eevee are the early lock-ins for Fnatic, and I think we know who the Eevee's going to.
This is a very dangerous lineup to go up against. I mean, and if you're looking at Mouse, you've got Cassie, Inara, Maldamba, Talus, I like kind of the flexibility. Actually feels like something that you're picking up not only because you yourselves have played it in the past, but you've seen kind of Fnatic, Na'Vi, some of these other teams start working that in. I feel like he still has this place. But I mean, you're looking again, not only the Eevee, the Leon, the Barrack, but Khan just augmenting the damage of those on Bright Marsh. Fnatic have a very strong lineup for the map.
Yeah, I like what they're bringing to the table. Maybe we are going to get to see a Willow. Just
it's not the team I said, so
yeah,
I'm
it's not
still
the
safe.
team. Yeah, it's not Fnatic, and yeah, they're actually locking it in. So why do you think it seems that a few rosters lately have decided to try and bring this Willow back?
I feel like there's a multitude of things, but especially here, it's partially just, I mean, Dead Zone. It's incredibly strong, being able to shut down healing. And for Brightmarsh specifically, Seedling is very similar to what you're going to see why Bomb King could be really strong. Everyone's in a kind of closed-off area. If you get it in the right spot, that detonation either forces them out or could kill somebody.
Their windows and all. But these are your lineups for game number 2, so let's see who brings home the win.
All right, Mouse Sports, working and mastering the Willow way.
Get it up higher so they can see. Crane extension full.
I was Nick, you should have made me,
That's
man.
the hammy.
No, that's the quad right there. I got to stretch.
I pulled
All
my
right.
hammy a little bit.
Oh, man.
We should keep it on the ground, 10 toes down.
10 toes down at all times.
That's
I'm
what
ready.
Bright Marsh is about.
Ow!
Yeah. No vertical mobility in this caster booth.
No, let me tell you what. I got it. Man, that is a high angle. That's chest level, man. Hiya. I should have done one kick. I could have gone all the way up there.
Chest level kicks are not. I don't know if that's the go-to.
Dude, I used to take Taekwondo. I'd be up here like, boom, wha! But you got to go fast.
Did you ever see that game show where it's like a board full of like lights or balloons or something, and this guy just like has to like kick like 36 lights out?
Really?
With the same foot, dude.
Yo,
all different elevations. Oh man.
Dude, that was the training. We go up, and I was just getting ready for like summer training. I had this Taekwondo teacher. I would just have to do this, just throw 25 times in a row. Right now, I'm just raising my knee and doing like that one kick. Oh my God, man, it starts to hurt right by the booty. It starts to not feel so fruity, I guess, if you like fruit.
Fruity booty.
It's not.
How can you not?
But then you get the fruity booty, so I guess that ends up working out for you.
Looks like a Nightshade Willow here. All that cool down, ready to rock and roll. Doodle. It's going to help him in a number of ways. You know, the anti-heal debuff lingers. So if he hits this onto an Eevee, her flickers, her Genos marks, none of that is going to be working for her sustain.
And this is a good map for her. You can see, I mean, Bugsy healing through her basic attack. So that's not really what he's looking for. And again, Nightshade not really the best as far as burst options onto higher level front lines, but as far as getting on those flanks that do approach you, if you hit a couple shots, they're half health, that burst is going to be valuable. And for Sheko, he knows it. He's given a lot of room to work with. Has to be aware of Andrew Doodle. But First Blood going the way of Mouse Sports.
Finally, that's a pretty late one for this set for how long this fight is. This hasn't even really been a reserved fight, I wouldn't consider. And now 150 in. That's when we see the First Blood. Bugsy falls as well. These aren't very conventional champions for Mouse Sports, and that might be working for them.
It's just a lot of resets, I think, Nick. It's like they have the Genos Astral Mark. They've also got Khan with the healing, and then, you know, Eevee can get in and out, and Willow as well can stay relatively safe. Talus is in and out with the Rune of Travel, so they've been testing each other, but a lot of poke, not a lot of commitments until that moment, and especially right now as well. Bugsy may catch him out. Sidebait has to be careful. 93% for Fnatic, and there's the Ice Storm. First ultimate here of the round.
He's just giving him the runaround at the moment. Khan and Leon looking for this pesky little Talus. They're not going to quite find him. Bees goes down on the objective. 96 for Fnatic. Ooh. 99 overtime started in favor of Orange and Black.
And giving that little bit of CC immunity there in the block. Andrew Doodle in the open, finds him midair. Nice shot there from the Winter Witch. She says, I'm the only one who's allowed to fly in this room. It's a no-fly zone. And so she sends him back to base.
She's breaking her own rules then.
Breaking her own rules.
She is the law. You go, Eevee.
Yeah, that's right.
You're the best.
That's right.
Best in the cast.
When High-Res Expo gets snowed in, basically, and you can't drive because of the ice, that's Eevee saying, you know, you guys didn't play me enough at LAN. I'm pissed.
We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
DreamHack.
You still think, Nick, you know, 1 second it's raining, 1 second it's sunny, 1 second it's
It has been
ice.
wild. Rain has definitely been
wild. It was a monsoon
here.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and now it's clear.
It's clear. I'm like, make up your mind, Georgia. Make up your mind, please.
That's our slogan, Georgia on my mind.
That's right.
You got to keep it at the forefront here. Theo and the gang keeping Mouse Sports on the back foot here. Nice headshot lands from Tenor.
Yeah.
One more quick slide there. No brain, no aim. Must be a Leon, man.
And, you know, it's so hard to let that be the statement because it's true.
It's truly not.
But it's not true. And, you know, it's just like, because those shots aren't easy, but yet again, she's
You
got
saying that
out
to
of the way.
Rukata at LAN?
Exactly.
I'm not.
I'm not either. I mean, you know, and you hit that presence, he has a beautiful 180 kind of flick shot there. You know, so difficult, yet she's got auto aimer in her kit, so you're always going to get some stuff when you come up against someone a little salty about the fact that you're dominating maybe too much here. Fnatic with a 2-0 push, and just like that, looking in on game 2.
One of my favorite Leon clips of all time is right when they changed the console aim settings, and I can't remember who it was, but someone's like, ready for that tournament on Saturday, and it's they're playing Leon, missing every single shot. Oh, they make a nice play, but it's all through abilities. They don't hit a single shot during that clip.
And you're just like, wow.
I'm just
Yeah, I'm
crying,
tourney
laughing,
ready.
dude. Ready for the tournament on
I am
Saturday.
tournament ready.
Oh, man.
What would you rank Leon on your value of fun champions to play in Paladins?
I think she is a lot of fun, man, just because it flows so well. Those auto aim, you know, that's only the in-between of hopefully a lot of shots that you are actually hitting, covering post fires and just making the character flow and stay in position to continue to do damage, kind of like Royal Cassie used to be.
And the thing I do love about high-level Leons as well, it's like, yes, you got the auto aim, but when a player plays it, that word you mentioned, flow, it just shows up. It's like a good basketball or soccer player. You get to see how it really looks like to just have the seamless transition of damage to movement to more damage. And you can tell the difference between an amateur and somebody who's hitting his shots, just like Visheko on an 11 streak here with an Ice Storm, shutting down Sybe's mobility, but not able to find the kill quite yet, though Koa does fall. His Bittner falls, and you have to expect that Talus will fall very shortly as well.
Tenor head of the back line. He gets the killing blow with the Enlightenment as well, so back to 50%. And a character that's, you know, that's another mechanic that just adds the snowball to the flow.
Yep.
And just moving through these fights effortlessly. She has a lot of fun loadouts as well to supplement, you know, whatever ability you want. And yeah, you could say that about any champion in Paladins, but it all just contributes to that high speed. You always feel like you have something to do when you're hitting everything with Leon.
And that's a beautiful thing, right? I mean, that's just synergy, it's flow, it's momentum, you know. I always think that that's sometimes the biggest pleasure to watch, as well as the biggest pleasure to play when you can access that. But it's going to take time, some skill.
Yeah.
Steffi Cloud dives in and maybe just trying to reset because he knows that Mouse Sports is falling. Otherwise, it was an interesting choice. I'm sure it was the reset.
Like, I always love to be using an ability. It's like a Willow for me is not fun because it's just like
There's a lot of
hyper impactful 15-second cooldown.
Right.
Hyper impactful 15-second cooldown, and then left click.
That's why Just Believe is so important in her loadout. You know, that max 40 or 50% elimination reduction really does help. And being able to just find some damage, keep playing, and by the time you get that elimination, it's almost right back up for you, especially if you're tagging multiple people, which is quite easy for Willow to do as she hops into the air, pressuring a little bit of its Bittner. Good attempt there, but its Bittner actually takes her out of the sky. What a slam dunk attempt. Denied at the bucket.
That was
Bittner.
insane, dude.
The range.
Posterize. Can you posterize someone from that far?
That was like, that was somebody going up for that posterize and then just the LeBron coming over and just smacking him out of the air. Just falling on his face, hands and legs all wobbly.
And then you get stepped over.
And then you get stepped over. And then they win the game.
Oh, my God.
And then you get up and you trip and fall. And then the reporter's like covering it all. And then they replay it all night. And then they grill you on social
busted out
media.
that camera just to make you feel bad.
Slow-mo the fall. Oh, man. Well, that was crazy. You know, Mouse Sports definitely looking good. Fnatic looking a little bit better, and I think this is just the caliber of team. I mean, they're 5-0. I wouldn't expect Mouse Sports to come at them. If they did, I would say what happened in the world? It would be Fnatic playing worse, but I think all's going the way we expected here in this set.
Pretty much. They've been undefeated this whole year, and it looks like it's going to continue.
Well, let's send it back to the desk. Break down game 2 as Fnatic take a 2-0 lead in the set.
Yeah, my first thought when they started doing that, I was like, why did they go to the old-timey camera? This is just what it gets defaulted to. Where are your DSLRs, man? They're so easy to pick up at Best Buy now.
I mean, we have all these ones
And
here
there's
that don't.
all these other types of
of
cameras. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. But you know what?
We
Sometimes
need
you gotta
one
go with the
crane camera. That
classics.
would be really funny.
Yeah, just one. Everyone's just fighting over it. Man, I really want to capture this with the crank camera.
I can think of some fun videos to have, like, especially if it's shot in like black and white and it had the like just those old timey movie effects.
We'll make it work, guys. We'll make it work. But do you think Mouse Sports after that game are going to find a way to make it work in Game 3? What were you liking and disliking about their play?
Surprisingly enough, I don't think the Willow was the problem, but I don't think it really helped that much. That's really kind of the key where it comes into it. Again, you're up against a team like Fnatic. Doing something different, I think, is the best thing you can do because, I mean, they're playing their game all the time. They're making you play their game most of the time. You need to play something different. Hope it works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And this is just one of those things when you get a different caliber of players. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And this one was one of the times that it just doesn't.
Very clean play. You had Fishy on his Eevee. You had Bittner on this Leon, which has been that pick that goes to a lot of players as of late. Yeah, as the casters put on, sometimes you can look at it and think, oh yeah, auto lock and stuff like that, but he's really doing a lot of things that you want to see in the PPL, right? Bringing that next level Leon play.
Would it be one of those things, especially with the way Fnatic aim, it can feel a lot like auto lock anyway, because they are usually on point with their shots. And of course, there was this one. Gets him out of the air,
Jeez.
Which that is impressive. I mean, that is not an easy shot to make normally, I would say. Willow is moving around in that kind of instance, so just pinpointing her through the sky is incredible.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff there from the, was it the babyface killer? Is that what they've all... I know At one point there are a few names for Bittner, but Stone Keep, that's where we're heading off to next.
Again, this is a map, I want to say kind of similar to the others. I think it's going to give Mouse maybe a little bit more room. If you're experimenting with blasters, this would not be another a bad place to try it as well as Bright Marsh. But again, you're looking at trying more to alleviate the pressure Fnatic puts on you than anything else.
Man, Maeve is just... she's been sitting on the bench so much.
Her hair is too... it matches my tie too closely. They just had to make sure she wasn't there.
Yeah, they're like, we can't have y'all matching here on the cast, but... this does mean Buck is actually available. He's getting picked up first for Mouse Sports. And this time, Fnatic take both Drogos and Leon.
That's a scary lineup to go up against. I mean, Leon, again, we just saw what Leon can do. Drogos in the right hands, which Fnatic has 3 players with the right hands for him, is incredibly deadly, especially against an Nara, against a Buck. This is one of those things that normally, again, I think the trade-off used to be, okay, well, we'll pick Buck into Drogos, then Drogos can't do anything because I will just kill him. And then Fusillade comes into play, and you're just like, okay, well, now Buck has to be careful because 2 shots to his face is just going to eliminate him.
Shaolin locked in now. So I feel like Fnatic so far going for a very aggressive comp. Same on the opposite side. Bomb King, Shaolin, Buck. Do you think that Mouse Sports, when they're going with this and putting so much? Wait, okay. So Fnatic is going with a Will. It's switching over to the opposite side.
I told you if I finish that sentence, every single time someone does it.
Yeah, you made it happen, man. You made it happen. So do you think it's going to work out better for Fnatic?
Oh, 100%. They are the kinds of players, again, like if you're looking at Drogos, you look at Willow as kind of like budget Drogos. She's going to do the same thing, maybe not quite as effectively, but she should fill the same role, and with them, it should look clean.
Well, I want to find out. Let's go ahead and get into the game. So casters, take it away.
All right, more Willow away. I'm not going to do the kick this time, but you know the danger. He's aware.
What the void holds.
Gabby's not here to bodyguard you as well, man, so this kick
You're right.
could come at any time.
I'm going to stay in the box.
Ha!
Holy crap.
That's what I'm talking about.
With great power, Evan.
Comes great responsibility.
Better keep a leash on that cannon.
Don't let me get the styrofoam. Don't let me get another styrofoam. Then it's really coming to your forehead.
Straight to the dome. If I die,
Straight
you guys
to the
know what
dome.
happened.
You know.
That tape's going to be used in evidence.
And on Stone Keep, it's going to be Fisheko basically, in my opinion, running a little bit of a, not a salty, but a little bit of a cockier Willow
Anything
pick.
you can do,
Exactly.
I can do better.
And we know Fisheko. We know he's done stuff like that. We know he has that kind of, he's leg up, laughing. Oh, that was easy. No problems to play against these guys at LAN. It looked like he was running Scorn, so let's check that out one more time just to hover over that to make sure. Maybe that, is that Nightshade?
I think that's Nightshade.
Yeah, that's Nightshade right there. So he's running Nightshade.
I mean, that's what you want against bulk up Bucks in your face, in my opinion. That's the only thing. That's the only way to completely shut down healing in the game.
Yep. It's, you know, damage reduction will still be there, but...
Poor Sive, dude. He's had some rough matchups today.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, it's not that easy for anybody to usurp the Kings. 5-0 is Fnatic. NTB's in a bad spot. He might have to use some cooldowns here, and I think he forces the Earthen Guard off of him. And they can't get this Fisheko off the high ground.
Death and Taxes, Nightshade, Willow. There is no healing coming through to anyone on this Mouse Sports roster. I'll be curious to see where Sepha Cloud is able to get, and through no fault of his own.
Yeah. This is a really well kind of drafted lineup for Fnatic, despite maybe a little bit of a sense of, oh, you play Willow? Well, I'll play Willow. If this was against Na'Vi, would I play Willow here? Maybe not. But because you guys played it last game, because it's a little bit back in the meta with Nightshade and available, you know, I'm curious to get their thoughts, Nick. They think this is truly, truly something that can compete at the highest of levels.
Cybade's a threat here. Center knows exactly where he is, I hope. Now he's definitely knocking on his door. Two-tap from Doodle from distance.
That was beautiful. I mean, just judge the range. Cannot see him there. Just knows where he's got to be. That is the caliber of a player Andrew Doodle has in his potential here. I mean, he is really just one of those young stars that's going to be great in this league.
Taking off, Fishy, about 60% HP. He eats another big slug before he gets all the way up. Tender's able to finish his kill. At this point, you're just trying to stay safe. If you're Fishy, give information. Fluttering, getting the drop on Doodle. He's able to escape. A little bit of help from the King's new cloak, but he's unable to be effective in this fight, and Bees is all alone on an island.
And it's just a great comparison, you know, of how they're using these double blasters to augment each other, augment their own safety. When obviously you see up in the air as Visheko, Bugsy shows up onto the point, and they're just using their abilities and their positioning so well, prioritizing in a really smart way. And Bugsy actually avoiding hitting that Dragon Punch. May go down here as a result, but they get the point.
Rough sequence from the vet there. A couple of awkward moments.
Yeah.
Running out of ammo. Dragon Punch just to zone. He does avoid the time and space, and that's what kind of, I think, sent him into a bit of an awkward spot. That was a bit of a zoning Dragon Punch anyway. Bees was already dead, and I think he's just trying to deter anyone that wanted to keep that overtime going any longer. Fishy gets taken down in the back line. Bugsy finds a long-distance rocket there onto Sybe to finally shut it all down. This is a very aggressive hold for Mouse Sports. They're not interested in giving Fnatic an inch.
And why would you? Why would you here? You have a chance to stall them out, to stop any momentum they may have. And so take it when you can against the champs, against the online champs. And this is something else to be noted, Nick. You know, Fnatic playing, yes, for another 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0 season potentially, but they didn't get the hardware they wanted. And I think a lot of these draft adjustments, maybe talking about the cockiness, I don't know. I think that's maybe more of a joke. I think really more of the diversity and willingness to play things that maybe NA was good at that they weren't heading into that last kind of land run.
You know, after they were cocky at Vegas,
yeah.
And after that, I didn't really get much of that from them at the Spring Finals or at the Masters LAN. And I think when they run back, you know, these comfort draft, these 3 DPSs, it might just be, you know, that mortal chill crawling up their spine a little bit, like we got to go with what we know best here, whether or not it is truly the best case scenario for this situation here. And then they do have some problems with, I think, nerves and overall performance in finals.
Yeah, and again, those nerves, that's going to be rough. They're going to be there until they're not there. So you're going to have that moment where you just overcome it. You know, I really expect these guys, like, if I was Fnatic, I wouldn't even worry about mechanically training. I would worry about mentally training and ready for these lands. Honestly, just getting your mind state right, man. That's what throws them off.
Kind of talking, I mean, at least for me, I'm talking about Bittner and Fishy. You know, Bugsy was phenomenal, especially, you know, that Kinessa game on Serpent Beach when Tenor and Fishy can't get anything going, and he was just keeping them in that game. So these veterans, the Gareth, Theo, Bugsy, they have always shown up in the finals there. As soon as you get these young boys to turn up the way they turn up online at LAN, Fnatic are winning a lot of trophies.
Yeah. You know, their moments, right? Everybody has their moments, and I think, you know, to be fair to those two as well, we had those questions, and they did answer them quite a lot during LAN. Maybe not in that moment that they needed to, but again, I think they were Fisheko was extremely impressive to me throughout LAN. But also, yeah, they have to as a group. It is not just an isolated person. And that is something that, you know, comes from the captain all the way down to the rest of the teammates here. As they have a 2-0 start and push that one in. Looking to close the set out against Mouse.
That's tough. I don't know who that guy, I mean, I don't see anyone as really that, you know, that fatherly, comforting presence.
Yeah.
Because everyone in Fnatic has a couple of troll bones in their body, but...
You know, man, you don't have to have it that way. You know, every team has a different makeup, I think. So I just don't know if they've found theirs yet where they're comfortable in those high-pressure situations. Like, what's their makeup? You know, there doesn't even have to be a father guy, I'd say, but maybe they just have to all admit that they're kind of solo dolos. They don't speak a lot. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not their coach. Certainly not. Pacheco here, though, says, I don't need a coach. I just need complete vision over every single person and essentially immunity while I'm getting a triple kill.
Fish in a barrel, or so the saying goes. They really didn't have anywhere to go there. And Fishy almost got burnt. He was taking small increments of damage, but then they stopped. I don't know where that was coming from, but it was only like 100 or 2 damage at a time. I thought he was actually going to go down there eventually, but he just floated at 200 HP.
Stayed up there.
And 3 killed.
I mean, how are you going to have to shoot?
Yeah.
A lot of people train, right? But they don't train flick shots at a 90-degree angle above them, and that's not necessarily, what they would be expected to hit. Fishy's just up there too long. Fnatic just too much in control. The momentum of this game has already shifted, I think, well far away from Mousesports.
Gera does end up going down there. Nice shot from Koa. But that's a lot to overcome. A full HP Fernando, Bugsy in your face. Meanwhile, Tenor zoning out the rest of your team, slowing down reinforcements. Lead to a 3-0 here. Fnatic, one push away from completing their sweep.
Fishy doing what he needs to do here for his team, playing the Willow. And certainly, if it was anything you could do, I could do better, proving himself correct in this moment. Bring up some of the KDAs here for this Fnatic game, and you would expect them to be extremely high in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at the KDA's damage, and I also want to see healing, because I feel like it's definitely had to be a struggle up until this point. And Garrett getting close to doubling his board genos. Like we said, through no fault of his own, it's just, it's dead zone and death and taxes for Fnatic. It's really tough to play into. That's a lot of coverage for Cephicloud to try and heal through, and it's not even something that comes from him. Mousesports just have to be conscious of it at that point.
You really do. You really do. Another opportunity here for Andrew to go down. Bugsy gets yet another kill, which we have yet to see, but we'll assume it's a lot. There we go. He's 7-5. 11-4 for Fishy, and Bittner 13-4. Kind of a silent but extremely deadly game for him.
Yeah. Leon can get that way, though, for sure. Especially with this weapon. So cool, dude. This might be my favorite weapon in the game.
Oh, this galactic little rifle.
It's like a stormtrooper, but one that hits shots.
You don't have that Tom Cruise, bad guy aim where everyone's just machine guns 2 feet away and he's just fully fast running and no one's shooting him at all. Maybe gets a little dirt on his shoulder.
It's the Tom Cruise way.
It's the Tom Cruise way.
You've trained all your life to do this. Tom Cruise has trained all his life to do that.
I could be. I'm going to be the caster, Tom Cruise, so I'll be doing all the action casting. If there is any action casting where you're doing like hurdles and athletic stuff and just
Sennheiser, we need a wireless headset.
I need it. I need
it
it
to zip around it.
That would be pretty exciting. I don't know. There's something fun there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Fnatic cleaned up the set 3-0, and that's going to wrap it up for our first game of the day in the PPL as we send it back to the desk to get ready for set number 2.
Randy's getting his physical work done over in the casting booth.
The Willow way.
Yeah, the Willow way. Fnatic was putting in the work, though, themselves during this game, cleaning it up. It's the play that we expect from them at this point, just with high expectations, nonetheless.
And it's just one of those things, again, when you're looking at, I want to say the skill gap between two teams specifically here, you can see Willow specifically for Fnatic look incredible versus what you had just seen against, or I guess against her from Fnatic when Mouse was piloting it. And again, there was a point where Pacheco was up in the air just looking straight down. And again, they kind of mentioned no one actually trains to hit shots that are literally straight up from you. It looks like he's looking at a mini-map.
That is so crazy. And just watching him walk by, following with all the shots and everything.
He was playing an RTS. Everyone else is playing a shooter.
But really great play from him. What about our boy Bugsy? What you think?
I really liked it. I mean, again, every single thing that came out from Fnatic this game looked clean. There was a lot of kills I think that Bugsy was explosive about versus what you kind of saw out of Bittner. Again, kind of a quiet killer with the way things were going, but Fnatic looked phenomenal. And these Rockets, again, if you do not, I want to say, factor in Drogo's damage to your game plan, it's going to just be devastating for you. Bugsy, Bittner, pretty much everybody on Fnatic can run Drogo's incredibly well. So making it look clean every single time.
And they've been putting Pacheco on it a lot, but obviously winning him on the Willow this time, it does help when you have other individuals who can pilot that. But also, it's important to note, with this win against Mousesports, Fnatic have now secured their spot at the LAN for this split. So the first team to do so.
And I think that honestly kind of puts them at a point. They're not guaranteed first with the way things are because 6-0, there's still a spot for them to lose 2 games next week and potentially have some of these other teams come up and find themselves also at that same kind of line. And then it comes head-to-head and it gets all muddled. But with the way things are going, they're a powerhouse. And qualifying first is honestly no surprise, I don't think.
And I'm sure they would love to keep up their undefeated streak in the regular season. So when it comes to next week, I expect some more high-level play with them with that intensity. We're going to shoot it over to a break, and when we return, it's time for our next matchup. So we'll see you then.